Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Open University.
Namaskar. As an assistant professor in the Department of English at Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University, today in this session we are going to discuss about Francis Bacon. In last session we have also discussed about Francis Bacon as an essayist, his main characteristics and all. And in today's session, what we are going to discuss? Mainly the main essay written by Francis Bacon of studies, famous quote and their explanation. So, let's start. In this session, what we have discussed, the Francis Bacon as a brilliant philosopher, statesman and writer of the Renaissance period. In Of Studies essays, Bacon explores the profound importance and benefits of studying and learning. We have also discussed in our last session, like first, a little background on Bacon himself, that is born on 22nd January in London. He studied at law at Trinity College, and by the age of 23, he became a member of the House of Commons, which was a part of the British Parliament. Throughout his career, Bacon was not only a successful lawyer and statesman, but also a prolific writer and philosopher, and that is why he is often called the father of empiricism, because of his belief in observation and experimentation as a keys to understanding the world, the way he has to see the world. Despite facing scandals later in life, like including accusations of accepting bribes that led to imprisonment, Bacon's contribution, mainly to philosophy and science, have left a lasting impact. Now, let's get into the heart of Studies essay, which was written by Bacon. Bacon begins by arguing that studying is not just a core, but a valuable activity and significant purpose and beneath. Through studying, we can get knowledge that enhance our understanding of the world, and this understanding can lead to new discoveries, new innovations that improve our lives. Think of your mind as a garden, and studying is like watering that garden, helping it to grow and flourish with new ideas and mainly new insights. One of the standout features of Bacon's writing in his clarity and practical wisdom, he avoids mainly a complex languages and presents his ideas in a simple manner, or you can say straightforward manner, making his advice easy to understand and apply. His essays, including Of Studies, are part of a larger collection where each piece explores different themes, but mainly it maintains this clear and practical style. Mainly, Bacon's message in Of Studies is, you can say it's a timeless. It reminds us that learning is not just about getting good grades or passing exams, but it is about enriching our minds and empowering ourselves with knowledge. In today's world, where information is abundant, Bacon mainly emphasized on using evidence and reason to understand the world is more relevant than ever. We have also discussed about what an essay is exactly according to Francis Bacon. An essay is a prose composition of a moderate length that mainly explores the ideas, theories, points of views and particular topic. It mainly includes introduction, a body section and conclusion. Mainly it aiming to present a coherent and logical argument. Essays analyze different perspectives, evaluate evidence, or provide personal reflections too, all while striving for clarity and you can say conciseness. Bacon essays often foster for the intellectual discussion. These are conversation mainly focused on deep and thoughtful topics using a formal and serious tone that mainly appeals to our intellect and encourage deep thinking. His works are also didactic, meaning they aim to teach as well as impart, mainly a practical wisdom. They offer valuable lessons that we can apply in our day-to-day life, everyday lives. Bacon uses literary devices like simile and litotes to convey deeper meaning. We have discussed in last section and we have given the example, like he compares natural abilities to plants that need pruning by study. This vivid imagery helps us to understand that our abilities need cultivation and refinement. He also uses litotes as a form of understatement to F.Y.B.A. For instance, I can say saying that studying too much, it can be a sloth. Highlighting the importance of moderation too. So, Bacon's of study teaches us that studying enhances our wisdom and knowledge and sharpens our critical thinking skills and cultivates our ability to discern truth from falsehood. By studying, we expand our understanding, learn to analyze situation more effectively and develop the skill of how we have to separate the truth from the falsehood, how to separate the fact from fiction. So, let's embrace the power of study and unlock the limitless potential of our minds. Reading, observation and writing. Right? So, firstly, Bacon emphasized on the importance of reading as the fundamental modes of study. Second, through reading, he says that one can explore different ideas and theories and viewpoints mainly presented by various authors. Bacon believed that exposure to a wide range of literature expands the mind and enrich one's understanding. When we are discussing about reading, these are the main things. Secondly, Bacon highlights the significance of observation as a crucial aspect of a study, particularly in understanding the natural world. He advocates for direct observation and empirical study to gain insights into the working of nature. Bacon mainly suggests that individuals should actively observe the phenomena around them, and by closely examining the world through their observation, one can uncover patterns, relationships, laws governing natural phenomena. Bacon mainly emphasizes on observation, mainly underscores the importance of empirical evidence and scientific inquiry. And lastly, Bacon mainly importance of writing as a mode of study. He says that learn serves as a means of solidifying knowledge and aiding in retention. When individuals engage in the process of writing, they are mainly forced to organize their thoughts and articulate their ideas clearly. Writing allows individuals to reflect on their learning experience and express their insights effectively. Bacon mainly believed that the act of writing not only helps individuals reinforce but their understanding on that subject. So, Francis Bacon's approaches to study, reading, observation and writing offer valuable insights into individuals can engage in effective learning by advocating for extensive reading, direct observation and practice of writing. These three modes of study not only facilitate or you can say acquisition of knowledge, but it also fosters critical thinking, reflection and communication skills, and therefore students of English literature can benefit it incorporating the Bacon's methods into their study habits of enhance their learning and mainly experiences. Now, in his essay of studies, what we have another thing we have discussed. So, for English literature student, understanding Bacon's advice can particularly enlightening as they navigate their academic journey. Bacon's cautions against the danger of excessive study, warning that it can lead to weariness and dullness of mind. This resonates with many students who often find themselves overwhelmed by the demands of their coursework. Bacon mainly reminds us that while study is important, there is such a thing as too much of it, constantly burying ourselves in books and assignments without taking breaks can exhaust our mental faculty. Bacon also argues us that the mindful of our limits and recognize when we need to step back and recharge. Instead of advocating for a relentlessly study, Bacon recommends that a balanced approach that combines intellectual pursuits with practical activity. Bacon warns against the pitfall of excessive study, which can lead to weariness and mainly a dullness of mind. Bacon mainly emphasizes on a balance, reminds us that study should not consume our entire lives. Rather, it should complement and enrich our experiences in other areas. For English literature students, finding this balance can be especially rewarding. By incorporating practical activities such as writing, discussion and performance into their study routine, students can deepen their understanding of literary text and develop valuable skills that extend beyond classroom. Bacon mainly encourages us to explore diverse avenues of learning and to approach our studies with curiosity and flexibility. Bacon's insight into the importance of a balance and moderation. He recommends a balanced approach to study combining intellectual pursuits with practical activities. So, what happens as they embark on their academic journey, students can draw inspiration from Bacon's wisdom and strive to strike a harmonious balance between intellectual pursuits and practical activities. Studies serve for delight, for ornament and for ability means that studying is not just about learning facts. It has mainly three important purposes. First, it brings joy and happiness into our lives. When we study things we love, it makes us happy. Secondly, studying makes us more refined and cultured. It mainly adds beauty to our personality. You can say like decoration add beauty to a room. Finally, studying helps us develop practical skills that we can use in our real life. It is not just about knowing things. It is about being able to do things in a better way. So, according to Bacon, studying is not just a core. It is something like that can make our lives richer and more beautiful and more useful. So, study serves for delight, for ornament and for ability. Reading make a full man, conference a ready man and writing an exit man. In his essay of studies, what he meant was that different ways of studying helps us in different ways. Firstly, reading lots of books fills our minds with all kinds of knowledge, making us full of information. Second, talking with others or having discussion or you can say conference, that helps us to become quick and ready to respond to ideas and their arguments. It sharpens our minds. And lastly, writing things down makes us better at expressing ourselves clearly and accurately. When we write actually, we have to be careful with our words, which helps us to become more precise in our thoughts as well as in our expression. So, according to Bacon, by reading, discussing and writing, we can become well-rounded and skilled in many ways. Now, our next quote. Next quote is, histories make man wise, poets witty, the mathematics subtle, natural philosophy deep, moral grave, logic and rhetoric able to content. So, what exact he means when he writes this quote in the essay of studies? Bacon mainly wants to say that to understand studying different subjects like history, poetry and maths all have their own benefits. By learning from each of them, we can become smarter and more skilled in many different ways. So, for mainly English literature students, Bacon message is to explore various subjects to become better thinkers and writers. Each field of study has its own merits, from history to poetry to mathematics, contributing to a well-rounded education. So, Bacon mainly emphasizes the various disciplines and their unique contribution to intellectual development. Now, our next quote is, crafty man condemns studies, simple man admire them, and wise man use them. Crafty man condemns studies, simple man admire them, and wise man use them. So, in this essay of studies, Francis Bacon talks about how different people see studying. He says crafty people often don't like studying. Why? Because they think it's not useful for them. On the other hand, simple people really like studying and think it's great without thinking too much about it. Why? Mainly Bacon thinks that wise people are different. They understand the importance of studying and use it wisely in their lives. Basically, Bacon is saying that smart people know that studying is valuable and they make good use of it. So, crafty man condemns studies, simple man admire them, and wise men use them. So, Bacon mainly comments on different attitudes towards learning. Those who are cunning may dismiss scholarly pursuits, while the knave may idolize them, and however, the truly wise understand the value of education and apply it judicially. Now, our next quote, which is my personal favorite from the essay of studies, some books are to be tasted, others to be swallowed, and some few to be chewed and digested. In this essay of studies by Francis Bacon, he mainly talks about how we should approach different kinds of books. Mainly he says some books are to be tasted, others to be swallowed, and some few to be chewed and digested. This means that not all books are meant to be read in the same way. Some books are like, you can say, snacks that you can quickly taste, getting a basic idea of what they are about. Others are like meals that you need to swallow. Whole reading them, thoroughly to understand them better. And then there are very few books that are like tough pieces of food that you need to chew slowly and digest carefully to get the most out of them, right? So Bacon saying that we should approach book with different levels of engagement, and depending on what kind of book it is and what we want to get out of it. This is the main thing. So whatever the book we are going to read, we have to identify that we want to taste it, we want to swallow it, or we have to chew and digest it, right? So some books are to be tasted, others to be swallowed, and some few to be chewed and digested. So at the end, today we explored mainly Francis Bacon's essay of studies. What we have mainly discussed? Highlighting the importance of benefits of studying. Bacon's mainly background, that he was born in 1561. He was a renowned and philosopher, and you can say essayist also. He mainly emphasized on observation and experimentation. In his essay, he argues that studying enriches our mind, enhances our wisdom, and sharpens our critical thinking, and mainly cultivate our thoughts. Bacon mainly uses clear practical language, making his ideas accessible and timeless. He advises a balanced approach to study, combining reading, observation, writing, and mainly he cautions against excessive study. We have also discussed about how Bacon's quotes emphasize the joy, refinement, and practical skills gained from studying. Okay, so let's embrace Bacon's wisdom and unlock our intellectual potentials. I hope you enjoyed this session, and definitely you will read of studies essay written by Francis Bacon. So I hope you enjoyed this session. Happy learning. Thank you. Namaskar.